Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Rafferty, and once again we are back with another, I would say movie, but this is more anthology, correct?
Original video animation, so it is technically an anthology, yes.
Right, in the vein of, say, Memories or Genius Party.
Yes, technically this predates all of them and basically inspired all of them because Otomo, who was the head behind those two, is a major contributor to this one.
Well, I know Memories is the only one I've seen, and, well, technically I've only seen one of the Memories one, which is, I don't remember the name of it. Farting Guy is what I'm going to say, and I think we all would know which one I've watched if I said Farting Guy.
Memories.
Well, no, the one of Memories.
Okay.
Memories, I think, refers to actually the first sequence.
Its name is some kind of pun, yeah.
Yeah, because you have that one with the with the astronauts, the one with the cannon factory. I don't remember what that one specifically about. It was the war thing. But you also have the
Oh, that's Neo Tokyo. That's not Memories.
The biological warfare one. You sure? I'm pretty sure that's in the set of Memories.
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. Neo Tokyo's Order to Stop Production, which is one of my favorites. Running Man, which is popular for anime. And
well, now I'm confused because I think Order to Stop Production is the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, Order to Stop Production was originally in Neo Tokyo, and that's the one with Running Man, which is the crazy guy on the guy who drives the racing car until it explodes. And Labyrinth, which is based on Kowloon Walled City, about the kids who are wandering around what isn't, but might as well be Kowloon Walled City.
Oh no, according to this description of it, that's not what I'm thinking about at all. I'm talking about the city that's at war with another city that you can't see, where they just have a bunch of cannons firing off over the horizon.
That's in Cannon Fodder.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's Cannon Fodder, then part of Memories.
Yeah. Cannon Fodder is that's also a Tomo. And what was that released in? Yeah, that's part of Memory. Yeah, Cannon Fodder, the weird space station bit, and the farting guy. Yeah, the guy who farts people to death. I love Otomo so much, but but we're not watching that one today.
Yep. Was again another one of your recommendations. Well, I don't know if this is what you had in mind, but very specifically at the end of Time of Eve, you said, "Oh, I have an idea for next time." And
yeah, this is one of them.
Yep. Yeah, I poked you. You gave me a list, and I guess this is the one we decided upon. So,
this is the one that I'm a little worried is you lost to time. This is the Mighty Mighty Robot Carnival,
which I can't say that I've been ever aware of.
So, Robot Carnival is the perfect storm. So, it's 1987, the peak of 80s anime. There's the economic boom has been going in Japan for years now, and the anime studios are pretty big. So you've got this perfect storm where you've got hungry guys like Otomo, our buddy who's going to do Akira, who want to do really cool, exciting, weird stuff. You have the studios existing, you have the market existing. Streamline, for better or worse, and Carl McKeck also are doing business. So there's an English market for it. So a bunch of guys get together and say, let's make an anime for direct to video, which could still be profitable on E7. And the only rule is going to be robots. We're going to have, let's see, 3, 4, 5. We're going to have 8 teams, and each of you just needs to make an anime that somehow has a robot in it. And we'll put it all in one big movie.
So, kind of the same concept as, well, not the full concept, but Love, Death, and Robots. As in modern day.
Yeah, and this is, we've got like Murderer's Row, because we've got Otomo, we've got Umori, we've got Kitakubo, kitazume. Let's see, which one is the Deprive? Yeah, we got Umori, who's going to do Deprive, which is going to be the more typical one here. We're going to have Presence, which is already one, that's Umetsu. What does Umetsu do? Oh, Umetsu's Arcadia of My Youth. And he was one of the Megazone 20. Megazone 23, that was the really bad anime I was thinking of earlier. But never mind that. And let's see. And we're going to have a parody of giant robot anime by Kitakubo. It's, let's see. One of the ones who worked on Blood, the Last Vampire. Oh, and Rujin Z. Okay. So basically, a bunch of veterans here who were given, like, basically carte blanche and a blank check. And so it's gonna be very arty. And one reason why I really wanted to show it is because, like, old man yells at cloud moment here. I always worry that anime got very ossified. Like nowadays, when people talk about anime, they often have the idea of the young, sexy teenagers in modern outfits who go to cafes, live in a modern day, and I don't know, maybe there's ninjas or ghosts or something. It's very homogenized, and the stuff that trickles over in the U.S. is very calculated. And this anime is going to be, there's like, even though some of this is commercially oriented, we're going to see arty stuff, we're going to see spooky stuff, we're going to see mysterious stuff, we're going to see stuff that's open to interpretation, we're going to see outright satire.
And sounds good. It's a gambit.
Yeah,
it's an anthology.
It's something I don't think it shows. It's the attitude of an anime that I think its last gasp was Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, and then after that, but Old Man Yells at Cloud. Maybe we should just watch the anime and make our own opinions.
I mean, we could discuss the fact that they've remade both of those things. But that's a joke. That's a joke. I didn't actually mean that.
They will once we watch Robot Carnival, I think you'll see that once again, it's the perfect storm. This is so 80s. Like every 80s anime cliche you will see in today's world. If you only saw one 20th century anime, no, not I mean you should see Akira. But if you saw a second one, you would see Robot Carnival.
Well, anime movie then.
Yeah. I mean, like this is anime, and I'm excited. I'm hoping you enjoy it.
All right. Well, I say let's go ahead and hop on into it then.
Before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Center opening.
Forgot for a moment I had everything going into my headset.
The Otomo designs. Oh, that run cycle.
It almost had a look, that face, of Desert Bandit meets Beavis and Butthead.
Yep. I love the eyeballs.
Okay, so this is just like the opening to the theme.
This is the opening. Coming soon.
The robot torn in half.
Yeah, I think he just runs up screaming, "Here it comes!"
So it's gonna be like a Monty Python sort of joke. The fact that they looked up and they saw something makes me think that they're gonna get hit by something falling from the sky.
It's still good even though I know what's coming.
Oh, I think I've seen a clip of this before.
It's been around for a while. It's classic.
Well, I mean, I'm only 3 years older than this.
I know. The music is amazing.
So actually, it's literally a combo of Mortal Engines and Monty Python opening sketches.
A little bit, yeah.
So what, they advertise themselves before they run you over?
Just run you right over. And the robot animation's pretty good too. Yep. Oh yeah, and the big O.
And I guess a little bit of the remake of Willy Wonka.
A little bit. Shoots the fireworks.
I mean, in fairness, where would she go, right?
Well, I love the fact that, yeah, see, there's little people. Yeah, and look, it's like deliberately targeting the homes.
Well, I mean, it's wide enough that it's running over every home. I don't feel like these people could have run away anywhere.
But the fact that the fireworks, like, deliberately land directly on their homes. Yeah, that shot where she spins around in all the flames of destruction.
Oh, I thought they were going to be explosions. No, they are.
Right.
So I was about to say, if they're dancing up there, then who is this for?
The only hint was, we're not going to rewind it right now, but there was an electrical pole in town that was kind of disused. So I think the implication here is some sort of post-Holocaust, which is one of Otomo's themes. And that this thing is just wandering around after, you know, in a Mad Max world.
Oh god, what was that? What was that game with the tanks that fight in Alaska? The automated tanks.
Oh,
Ogre? Was that Ogre?
Yeah, the Ogre. They fight in Europe, but yeah, it's Ogre. Oh, and Ogre is one automated tank versus a bunch of troops.
I must have like read a variant of it or something.
There's a couple different versions of that, but I just love that. That's how Otomo announces, "Welcome to the Robot Carnival."
I mean, it was more than I expected since I thought it was just going to be a giant text. Well, I guess it literally was a text scroll if you think about it.
But that's a text scroll. Oh, I'll give you a text scroll. On the painting of a robot rampaging over a city.
I don't know, I'm slightly getting the feel of number 6.
Yeah, this is directed by Morimoto, who I would describe as a working director. He's worked on a bunch of stuff, including Akira. And Wikipedia describes him as mostly ignored outside Japan, but I think that's because, you know, like I said, working director, he's doing shows. Yeah, while he was in Short Piece, Animatrix, one of the directors on Magnetic Rose from Memories.
Yeah, some memorable stuff. I mean, specifically, Animatrix is well known enough, I would think.
Yeah. I'm nostalgic for this era of, like, you know, the cheap painted backgrounds. You have the limited color palette and the zero graphic animation. But they're still trying to make everything bouncy and look different. Like, you got the humans here. Like, we had just the humans running around. You've got this guy here. Look at that.
Well, I mean, his style isn't that far from, like, an 80s Disney movie.
Right, and this is before. I mean, oh man, yells at cloud. This is before we had an endemic of shovel face, where everybody's got, like I know on anime television productions, they streamline the design. Everyone's got it. You're like, we just saw Otomos where everybody's got a coconut head, and we're gonna see some variety here. Also, techno porn.
I don't know, this was called Franken gear, wasn't it?
Yeah. This is what I would call director porn, because there's a lot of stuff in here that is difficult animation. Like, see how the background flickers like that? In order to do that, back then, you'd have to paint 2 or 3 different backgrounds and swap them out during camera. So you take a camera shot, trade cell, camera shot, trade cell. So to do that, you'd have to paint different backgrounds and move them on different numbers. That's difficult to coordinate and expensive. So a lot of stuff you'll see here in Franken Gears is, look at me, I'm a great director. Which, I'm fine. Cartoon sound effect. Yeah, the run, ski to a stop. See this part right here?
I don't know, maybe it's just like the look in his eyes that's making me think of like Disney style animation.
Yeah, well, this is Disney style. This is
well, when it zooms in and he's got the multiple rings in his eyes.
Yeah, well, this is high animation Japanese flavor. I mean, like imagine you have to work on like Dragon Ball, where characters just stand there and flap their mouths explaining what a hyperbolic time chamber is. And like, it's all static, and then people just going whoosh and kicking each other. And then you have a project like this where I can animate every handshake this guy does. Or that. I'm projecting, of course, but...
Right. It's just, I guess, my mind just goes into the things that I think about or recall. So when I'm thinking of like Disney stuff and I look into his eyes and this thing's called Franken gear, I guess I'm expecting that. You remember Brave Little Toaster?
Oh, yeah.
The repair shop full of half-broken stuff?
Once again, and here we go, more showing off.
They kind of look like the picture that this thing started off with.
Right, like I'm not sure if I don't think they actually did this as photo negative. Ooh, vignetting. See, like this kind of smoke effect and stuff, they have to do special paint techniques for that. The cells are so dirty, you can see all the dirt. I've never seen this in 4K before.
I mean, I also appreciate that it's all in 0 vocals. It's a story.
Yes.
And visuals and sound effects.
Yeah, like this segment to me really struck me as director porn when they said, it's just gonna have a robot in it, and he said, I'm gonna do every advanced technique I know and no one's gonna talk. Also, yes, this was expected to have a US audience in mind, so I'm sure that influenced some people's choices. I wish I was that happy.
I mean, it's obviously a one and done, whatever it is, because his entire shop is being destroyed.
Yep.
In the creation of. I'm just not 100% certain what his goal is. Also, the fact that this thing is sparking and leaking all over the place.
Yeah, it's occurred to Grandpa here. That might not be good.
It's about to be hugged to death.
Well, shop's not big enough. Yeah, like, and what I'm always going about, the color choices here are limited by the paint that they have. So, you know, you have limited colors, you make use of them. Just background's red, guy's blue, we're done. Work with it. Yeah, I don't know if he's like here with his mind or he's just happy. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know, because that thing also broke, the thing that he is hugging.
Yeah, something's going on. Uh-oh.
I'm going to count that in the hug to death territory.
Yeah.
And that it clearly fell on him.
Okay, new segments. Yeah, this is Umori. Deprive. Okay, now the anime starts.
Also, already in a society with robots living with people.
Yep.
When alien spaceship crashes. I can't help but notice in the background there was a building that had CNN die written on it.
I saw that, yeah. And grab it. Oh no! Put a friendship bracelet on my faceless robot. Oh no!
Okay, so they're space robots. Wait, was he the guy that was walking in earlier?
Yes, he goes to the shop, gets a makeover and a glow up. Yes!
Was that really what has happened? Because I was thinking it was the reverse, that he walked in and he was actually a robot underneath it all.
I want to take his glasses. And he's doing the Dragon Ball weave. It's like, yeah, I can fly. What do you want? And this soundtrack. I highly recommend getting the Robot Carnival soundtrack, which is available on many streaming services.
Well, I mean, to me, it feels reminiscent of that Daft Punk movie.
Yeah, which was highly inspired by 80s anime type stuff. So, can you see why I recommend this movie as every anime ever?
I mean, if Mega Man had an anime and not a cartoon, I feel like this is what it could have been.
Yep. Oh, yeah, look, guns! Oh, this thing. Utomo likes this. Why aim your guns when you can just alter physics to make the bullets travel whatever path you want?
Kind of how it works in Gunbuster, wouldn't it?
Otomo. I had more guns! The oldest trick in the book. So second.
Sorry, what was that? What did we just... Okay, yeah. So,
It's evil guy.
space pirate dude.
Yep. Torturing with a Van Halen machine. Yep, see, it's the robot.
Yeah, I just got the order of events wrong. Backwards. I don't know, the two giant robots just scream Mega Man villains to me.
Yep.
Like boss monsters.
Well, Mega Man's influenced by the Casshern anime, which I don't think this guy's connected with.
Or I should say Mega Man X, since those were more
Yeah,
animal robots.
it just blows up for no reason.
For some reason, I also think One Punch Man may have gotten inspiration from this.
One Punch Man is, yes, very much from this anime tradition.
Well, this room, this blue guy, despite the fact he has two eyes instead of one.
Well, and this room, you know, is very common in anime. We saw it in Ghetto Robo. You know, the bad guy headquarters has to look weird but also imposing. You just piss on him?
I don't think so. I thought that was a laser.
He bleeds blood.
I mean, to be fair, so is the Terminator. That's what make you a person.
No. Apparently he was made of light. Notice that he rescued her.
So was his throne a giant robot hand?
Apparently. Run from the Techo battle.
Also, when did his skin come back on?
I don't know, it's holographic or something. Yay! Van Altenmark has been saved. See? Your friendship bracelet. It turns out I am your perfect boyfriend.
I just can't put who she reminds me of. What anime character?
Every anime character ever.
Probably a Sympho Gear character if I think about it.
Yeah, Deprive was like every anime ever.
Oh, words.
Yeah, apparently we're watching the subtitle version.
Oh no, there is English if you want to put that on. I'm watching it in subtitle.
Oh, I also have it subtitled. Oh, oops.
Animatrix inspiration, you say?
Let's see. This is umetsu. Yeah, the Matrix guys. All right. Well, promise that'd be nice. Let's see. Umetsu. Yeah, Robot Carnival did a lot of work with Tatsunoko.
Well, specifically when it comes to the abuse of robots in a social setting, makes me think of Unimatrix. Or not Unimatrix. Was it Unimatrix 1? That was from Animatrix.
The Matrix guys watched a lot of anime. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that. Okay. let's see what. This is another working director. This guy's worked on a whole bunch of stuff, like Dimension W. And Puella Magica Madoka Magical Side Story.
うまそうなスープ。このぬくもりは罪悪だ。
Yeah, but this was not one of the directors in the Animatrix.
パパ行ってきます。お仕事頑張ってね。
俺の妻はバリバリのキャリアウーマンだ。彼女には嫉妬にも似たある種の羨望を強く感じる時がある。
I don't know, man. Looking at this makes me feel like I'm watching a more anime version of heavy metal, but instead of metal music, I'm hearing Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah, they did a little more.
I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that's the feel that I've got.
The music in the anime is consistent. They did get.
Did he just throw a sheep?
I think so.
Sorry, just figuring out the name of it in my head would be Heavy Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah. Ishii was the director of the music. There's also Fujita and.
Oh, there we go. That's different.
Yeah. But yeah, so
there you go. Umetsu right there in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah, because the music is all done by the same team. It's got a consistent, but they also made sure a little warm. But they were also pretty good about changing up the styles. So that does help harmonize it a bit. You just go pollute. Whatever, dude.
I mean, there's so much shit floating in the lake already, apparently. Including dead robot bodies, and you live in a city full of robots already.
Yeah, this is before we had a word for steampunk.
Well, it's more so that's not flying with any visible source of locomotion.
Yeah, well, like I said, back in, people would call this steampunk today, the Victorian fantasy or whatever. Once again, it's just like, we'll do something different. The character designs are unique. Like, yeah, he's got a very unique face.
Also, something seems a little bit off about his style of animation. I mean, his movement. Well, yeah. In some places, anyway.
I would say it's typical of this era.
Well, I didn't see it when he was walking here in the last scene, but when he came in the door, it seemed like he had extra frames of movement.
Yeah.
A giant file?
He's got a weird skull.
I mean, large businessman guy turned out to be a robot, so I don't know who is and who isn't a robot. Oh. Those could have been electric sheep.
It's just kind of weird where he says, I'm working on this robot that looks very human, and it's like,
didn't tell my family.
I'm guessing the robot crow with the screw in it's an allusion to some other anime.
Yeah, she reminds me of, this came out in 87, right? When did the movie Mannequin come out?
Oh, like 81, 82. The sequel would have been out by now.
Yeah, she very much reminds me of like something the girl in Mannequin wore, I think.
You can see the dust and dirt on the cells. Oh my god.
Like I say, also Mannequin would have been apropos for the theme of what I feel like is going on here.
She is dressed in some sort of weird fusion of the 19th century Victorian, but also like it's pink and pastels, and she got a star. Oh. Well,
Yeah, very much I could see what's her name, Cyndi Lauper wearing what she's wearing.
Yeah, very 80s.
If he raided that trash can, I'd be wondering why he didn't pull out the arm from the lake.
Well, look at them. They're terrible.
Yeah, it's the lack of concern, even though they could apparently be anybody on the street.
Well, once again, what I like about it is they do that direction. They show he looks at it, regards it, and then looks around, looks at the people in the street. Earlier, we saw any of those people could be a robot. Once again, it's like, they just let you make up your own.
Yeah,
mind
well,
about
the
this.
guy's head implied that the kids could get in trouble for what they were doing.
Yeah. But the kids obviously have no fear.
Or it was bluster and not true.
に名前はないの。
Oh, is that one of the good luck cats?
Money cat, yeah. He has her in a shack with like, some sort of puppet theater.
Tchotchkes, it looks like.
私、恋をしたいと思います。
何を言ってる？今の言葉、プログラムした覚えはないぞ。
寂しいんでしょ？
He has a family.
Yep, that's
私、聞
important.
こえたし感じたわ。あなた
I'm hoping this isn't one of those where he destroys her.
意識を確立するなんて驚きだな。
Weird wooden head things.
Yeah, the Eastern Island hits.
Yeah, but they have a twisty gear thing in them.
変な声出さないで。
So why was there a bone in all of your stuff?
Huh.
俺に踏み込んじゃダメだ。
Is that a batteries not included reference?
もっとそばにいたい。
機械が痛みを感じるか？
Underrated movie, in my opinion.
ロボットにグルメなんていないだろう。ロボットに人格があるか？
This is his man cave.
私は私をよく知ってるもん。
We had to travel across town away from his family to get here.
Yeah, it's a secret place filled with toys, and the robot even called him out on it.
たくさんドキドキしたいの。私の意志で。やだ、シニカルな笑い方してる。
It's also a convergence of different desires.
Yeah.
Well, she said she wants to fall in love, and he said, I never had a mother's love. Which feels like he wanted to build a daughter. Well, I said I didn't want him to destroy her, and that looks like it's where we're going.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's... Why'd you fill her with blood?
So she can blush.
Fair enough. I'm just glad she didn't come back with her face wrapped, torn up from the mirror.
Yeah.
Ah, come on, man. The melancholic music really adds to the scene. I built an android just to watch it bleed.
Well, I mean, it's the implication he's afraid of it, what she represents.
Well, that's what I thought, is that, he has a family and then he builds this thing that wants to fall in love. Even though he weirdly says that I never felt a mother's love, like he wants to have a child. Oh man, time has passed. Not well for him.
The eyebrows fall off his face is so weird.
もう行く
See?
かね
And his children grew up.
Well, it's more so the way his skin just seems to slough off of his cheeks.
Yeah, enemies reminded me of stuff.
Well, I mean, in fairness, it happens differently in anime than it does in real life.
ああ
The eyebrows that go off of his eyes droop that low.
Is the implication that his kids grew up or that his kids were robots? Because that little girl was exactly the same as when he left the house earlier.
That's his kid. And once again, the problem with anime having few designs. I mean, his children.
I mean, are you sure? I mean, I can see what you're saying, that his daughter had a daughter that grew up to look like herself. But the fact that we just saw him build a robot daughter could imply that he built better robot daughters already.
Yeah. The eyes were different.
Were they? I guess that's something I didn't notice. I guess the same One Piece syndrome. All girls in One Piece have the same face.
Yeah.
Most girls in One Piece have the same face. They all look like Nami, who also, the artist's girlfriend looks like Nami.
I like the candlestick with the electric light bulb. That's a nice touch.
You didn't kill me, father. I thought you were going to bring up symbolism with the candlestick with electric light. You can't blow out an electric light.
Mm-hmm.
Candle in the wind. Reference towards life. Is it real or is he dying? So I feel like he's reliving a memory of what he did to her.
Yep.
Why did you have red blood but green fluids?
The blood's only in the face.
So the rest of her body can't blush.
No, you wouldn't see that part. It's under the clothes.
That's why I asked him if he's dying, because it feels like final regrets time.
Yeah. Like he's had memories of how much, that made her happy, and then he's remembering that he destroyed her.
お前の足長おじさんにはなれなかったよ
What?
I'm guessing that's a Japanese expression, because the implication was she fell in love with it, and he was like, no, I can't have, relations with a robot.
Yeah, but she was looking for a prince apparently, and then
Daddy Longlegs might be a different euphemism. We can look this up.
I would say Daddy Longlegs, even as weird as this is that's the weirdest part for me. I feel like I at least understand everything else. Wow, he never went back.
Well, why would he?
Regret? You always go back to the scene of the crime? I don't know.
Wow.
This kind of feels like this could be a metaphor for having an affair.
For the temptation.
See the rest? She's got like bruising on her skin. That would require blood too.
Yeah, or it could be rust. Or
Yeah, fair enough.
both.
Before you said the word rust, it just entered my head too.
Yeah, he just left her there.
Well, because I imagine he did the deed and ran. Exactly what I said I didn't want to see halfway through.
Yeah.
おじいさんおじいさん風が出てきましたよ
You didn't think it could happen, but he got older.
Yeah. There's a little toy robot, which he probably took, the toy robot he took back from the place.
Well, it's kind of different because the other one was a penguin with the thing coming out the midsection. That looks like it's coming out the head.
They had the same shark. Yeah. Oh,
Oh, a toy version of her.
wow.
Well, I guess plus Angel's wings, but it might be metaphor for the fact he killed her.
Those weird eyebrows.
Haunted by the past.
もうおじいさん子供じゃないんですから言うことをおじいさん
The toy's gone too, huh? Oh, I thought she was gonna look back and the other girl wasn't there. Oh, I thought I saw it was gone.
There might be an animation error.
Well, I guess he really is dead.
Well, or just he
Walk.
wandered off one day. Where the hell did he go? There's nowhere to be.
Yeah, like that song.
Well, that's it.
I mean, it was the best one so far. Not quite happy with how it ended, though. That ghost robot forgave him.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's a little weird. Oh,
For a second there, I thought I was hearing like a Final Fantasy theme.
well. Remember I said this is the ultimate anime. If you only ever seen one anime, it's this one. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my god.
This actually does seem like a theme song to an anime.
Yeah.
I can't place what it is, though.
It's every anime theme you've ever heard. Oh, robot entertainment.
You the robot.
Yeah, the guests could have expect that.
Sorry, I'm looking at her and I'm thinking, is this the anime version of Little Wonder?
You mean Small Wonder?
Small Wonder. Ah, yeah, so close. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. I forgot the music in this. Yeah, the director of this is one of the go-to guys for giant robot anime.
Well, I was gonna say, if Boston Dynamics taught us anything, is that the only thing you really can do to a robot is knock it over.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's Dunbine. He worked on Dunbine, Super Dimension, couple Gundams.
Was that a reference to one of the previous shorts? The guy walking out with like the desert thing coming over his shoulder.
Well, I think like these are like
self-contained, but I mean that dude looked like the guy from the second or third one that we watched.
Oh well, these were all been done in a vacuum, so I don't think these are really related.
Wasn't she the one with the locket that had him in it? Yep. Okay, there we go. Confirmed that.
Yeah, her boyfriend's dating her best friend.
This is literally pause music from Final Fantasy.
It predates it by like 10 years.
Well, now we know where Final Fantasy music comes from.
It comes from anime. Oh. My best friend is dating the hunkiest guy in the world.
Well, my best friend's dating my boyfriend.
Yeah.
That is the general from Akira. The guy that was just behind the right-hand side of the robot.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the Akira guy? Did you say that?
No, this is Kitazume, who's was the go-to robot guy. Like, worked on every giant robot anime from this era.
Okay, I guess it was just happenstance then.
Yeah. He worked on Gundam, he worked on Megazone 23, worked on Macross. I mean, yeah, he's a giant robot guy.
As we all know, robot heads are just sensors.
Yep, just put it back on.
The most unfortunate way to run while crying is head up.
Yeah, got me an enemy girl.
So is that for children getting on the ride?
Apparently they just stuff them in there. Oh, she's mad. You didn't know you were two-timing me. With my best friend.
Who apparently never showed me that locket once.
Yeah. Now to fly you into space.
To be fair, the ride that they were on earlier was a flying ride too. Yeah. Although I'm assuming this one's more holographic.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry, when did Superman come out?
Yeah, Superman came out in 79. It would have been out for a long time.
Because it was literally the slide down the arm move from Superman for the flying scene.
Right, I mean, as much as I love Robot Carnival, like a lot of this is, the theme was robots. So it was, some of the directors, took this as an artistic challenge, and some of them took it as, look what I can do. Look, flying robots. Look how I'm really good at this. That's a secret robot park, apparently.
Well, it's Robot Wonderland. But I mean, it's filled with people, too.
Except this part's the robot part.
I think she's on a holographic ride. Like all the light filling the space when she was on the ride surrounding her.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It's not clear.
And we know this guy was following her, so he could just be on the ride, too.
Go away, robots. Oh, no! Look, I wonder if this is a bad guy.
It does look like the bad guy from Sabuki Bisco.
I love that he has a small, drooling organic mouth inside his giant robot mouth. Oh no, my face! It's a hunky guy!
Yeah, subversion. I was actually the mascot of the park. Wait, my head came off earlier. How did that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, this has to all be holographic or something. Because again, his head came off earlier, and there was no head under it.
Or it's a fantasy sequence that she's like,
Oh yeah, she passed out on the ride.
Yeah, she's tripping balls.
Or she's an epileptic and having all those lights coming on around her wasn't actually helpful at all.
Yep. Look, more hunky guys been revealed.
He's the reverse Metroid.
Yes. Wikipedia has a reference to say this was inspired by the "Take on Me" by Aha video.
Well, she did go from color to nearish black and white. I don't know what she is in there now.
She did go from color to black and white, and this is kind of an 80s hunky guy. So, but there's a lot of influences. Like, Superman was an influence. The Locket's turning willing her sword. This is...
I don't know how that works thematically. I'll take your love for the guy who's been two-timing you and use it as a weapon.
Yeah, this has fanfic all over it.
Well, it's just like if everything is metaphor, then I don't know how to take the metaphor of the locket you tried to abandon.
Yeah.
Unless the giant robot was a metaphor and she used her love that was the locket as the metaphor to defeat her ex-boyfriend.
And they're back together. It's not important who's back. And I have a new boyfriend now.
I guess he was just a mascot. I guess technically he could have just been bent over where he didn't see his head before and he put his mask back on.
He's a boyfriend with a detachable head. Best kind of boyfriend.
At future Disneyland.
Ended. See?
Well, it's the only one so far that put end on it.
I mean, that felt very much like a show reel. It was much of... Okay, here's Cloud. And this was done under pseudo as Mao Lamdo. This is Manabu Hashi.
Mao Lamdo is my favorite Star Wars character.
Oh wow, he died 2 years ago.
Well, feel bad about my jokes then.
Oh wow, he was the director of Unico, which I'm a fan of.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I guess we need to look up Unico next.
It's a familiar looking robot design.
Yeah. Okay, he worked for Toei, and then apparently worked with Madhouse for like 50 years. On a bunch of stuff we've never heard of, except possibly Lunar 2.
Kind of feels like a Astro Boy look.
Yeah, well, he was big in the 60s and 70s. Probably why I can't find a lot of info on him, because he's the old hand.
Well, unlike Astro Boy, apparently this one could grow up. He did key animation for Erosion Z. Did you already mention that one?
Oh, yeah, I did. Some of the people here worked on it.
And Sailor Moon.
Yeah, so he's very much a working director.
Oh, he also did the key animation for the ending of Gosick, which is an anime that I really enjoyed.
Okay, yeah. Well, I think once you see the Cloud segment, you can see that, he's,
Well, I mean, that's what's happening now.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously, once again, this was like an opportunity, so some of the directors, like Deprive and Starlight Angel, those are good. Those are really good showcase stuff.
I had mentioned that it reminded me of Astro Boy, he did he did animation in 1965 of Astro Boy. So yeah,
he's literally from that era. And you can see here, like, ooh.
Well, having watched a number of 1960s Astro Boy myself, that's why I guess I felt that.
Yeah, and you can see here is the manga inspirations, the inking.
Well, I appreciate that it's yeah, I don't know. I was going to say more serious, but I don't even know if this is more serious. Original 1960s Astro Boy had a very cartoony feel, and this at least feels more artistic than it does cartoony.
It's a cartoony design animated very realistically, which is one of my favorite parts of anime. Also, this is showing off. He's got a border around this. The main character down there is consistently animated in their own walk cycle. Meanwhile, there's dissolves going on in the background. This all would have been done without computers, so it would have been optically, possibly by swapping, images in and out under the camera, possibly by dissolves in the editing. Once again, this is like I said, this is all stuff that would really impress other animators that are animation studios, but not necessarily us who don't know what's going on.
Well, I mean, the way you were describing it makes me think of the Disney studio thing of, I don't know what they call it, transparencies? Where you draw your character on top of a thing and you do a bunch of animation of, or taking I would say screenshots because that's my modern terminology. A lot of images of the, you're drawing them on top of clear frames with a solid background in the background. So you would it feels like you would just be doing two of those.
Yeah, this is cell combination. Some of this might have also been
cells. Sorry, cells. That's the word I was looking for. You just said.
This is the era of cell animation. Yeah. Like, I think some of the directors said, hey, I wanted to try this technique and see how well it would look. And back then, you couldn't just go to a computer and fire it up. You'd have to get a studio and get film developed. So I think on some of the things we're seeing in Robot Carnival, where I wonder how this would look.
Well, apparently it's the end of the world, which I guess is apropos of all the angels and cherubs we saw in the cloud animations before. I guess it wasn't the end of the world, even though it was a mushroom cloud. Now we see rockets taking off. Oh, alright, maybe that was still the end of the world. I guess I'm just kind of at a loss of what's supposed to be being impressed upon me here. Because I have to feel it's more than just the animation, because, as you pointed out before, it's not specifically supposed to impress us non-animation savvy people.
I mean, I don't want to say that, they weren't out to impress.
Are you sure that this was in a vacuum? Do you remember 2 stories back? Literally, we had these 2 exact spaceships.
Well, that kind of UFO design is popular in
it was exactly the... Well, okay.
Yeah, because you see it in a lot of stuff. And that's also the 1940s design.
It's just that we got the desert guy from the second animation showing up in, like, the 4th one, and then the same 2 spaceships show up from, like, the 3rd animation in this one.
Well, these guys worked together. So, they probably would have had similar ideas and that kind of stuff. But that kind of UFO design is like the popular 50s UFO design. It's one you specifically see in anime, because when you see the UFOs in the US, they're usually the sleeker Plan 9 design.
Yeah, I mean, I recall seeing those like way back in the past, but I just don't remember seeing them for such a long time. And not a long time since toys, right? Another classic toy design UFOs.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, I don't know what's being impressed upon me here with the cherubs in the sky, then to like World War III, and then we're back to wandering with the cloud motif again.
Like, yeah, one thing I like to impress on folks is sometimes people are just like doing art for the sake of doing art. It's like, okay, I want to do clouds with a tone dissolve. I want to do lightning. I want to do a sequence here.
It's the cherubs again, except now that they're not specifically clouds. Well, I guess they still are.
I want to draw cherubs or whatever. It's like it could just be, you know, and also this is the most like pro forma of all of them. It's like, hey, you know the theme is robots, right? Oh, I'll just put a robot kid in the foreground. There, robot.
I mean, I guess implicitly, art can exist to evoke without meaning given by its creator. I would just think that something like this would be meant to evoke something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Because that's the first time in, a couple of minutes that he's turned around to look.
Yeah.
When cherubs blew on his back. He didn't turn around for the nuclear war or the lightning.
Yeah, these kinds of glowing effects, there's no such thing as After Effects or anything like that. In order to get that kind of glow, you'd have to get a cell like we described, but instead of like painting over the stuff you want to exist, you cut holes out of it.
How they did the Star Wars X-Wing stuff.
Right. And that was an optical technique, is what you did. So all that shiny stuff that we just saw was, hey, let's show this off.
Yeah. I very specifically watch VFX artists react, and they also react to old stuff like the gem thing that they used in the camera for the Mary Poppins movie, for example.
The sodium, the very exclusive sodium light. That was pretty good because they pointed out that no one does that anymore, and it's way more effective than green screening. And I never thought about that.
And they did recreate one on their own.
Yeah.
Oh, so now he's a real boy.
Now he's a real boy.
So, kind of still the story of Astro Boy, encompassed in a Bruce Banner kind of way. And now he is Nemo, the Dream Master.
Yeah, as much as I like this movie and I like this segment, this really felt very like, oh, we'll stick a robot in the foreground for this. I really want to show off, the showreel techniques, which I'm fine with. It's in the spirit of let's do creative stuff. It's just, this is the cloud segment. Yes!
You're my ladder to nowhere.
Well, the ladder to the alarm. That's the watchtower.
Right. It didn't seem like it had anything holding it right. Yeah, that's my feeling in that moment.
That's got us lunch.
Westerners invasion. I was going to say it has spotlights for eyes. This giant mecha.
And this kind of television title card.
Oh, the cock eyes.
Their fate is in our hands. My beautiful automaton. My barking doll. My Tinkerbell.
The irony that the subtitling is in Japanese,
Yep.
even though I could still use subtitles for whatever the hell this guy's saying.
Yeah, because he speaks English. He's the Westerner. He's invading with his giant robot.
This mammonist nation deep hunger. They'll soon be under my control. A millennium.
Again, well, for me, the irony is the fact that the subtitle file that we have is for full subtitles. So, the travels of Marco Polo.
いいけど、これ勝手に動かしていいの？長屋のみんなが怒るんじゃないですか？バカ野郎、日本の危機だぞ。ライバル、しっかり
Shut up, dumbass.
源次郎、しゃっきりしろい。
はい。いっちゃうぞ。
He's got the jite.
So it's Meiji era robot jocks.
Yep.
I'm down. Let's just gotta fight our way across the entire town, I guess.
Yes.
Also, ironically, given the scale, they're about the same size as a Gundam, these things.
Yep. Steamer thing, God. The robots' designs are great.
Well, they showed us how far they have to go, considering we've seen how much it takes to move 1 foot.
So you think you can
Yes.
move and maneuver just like my machine? A machine invented by me? The world's greatest brain! Get out of the bay! All right, I'll show you.
As funky as that guy looks, I don't think he's gonna win.
The music in this segment is so great.
I am the brilliant scientist, John Jack Volkerson III, the world's greatest genius. I will not allow anyone to alter the course charted by my fearless intellect. If they do not retreat at once, this cannon will make them pay for their arrogance. I will give them just 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. It is unfortunate that this must happen.
Okay, hell of a countdown, buddy.
May rest with God. Now it is time. Oh, なんて言ってんだ?
エギリス語だったらわかるんですが、メリケン語は勉強不足で。
I love that they don't know what he says because he speaks English.
Well, it says if it's English, I couldn't understand it. I didn't study American,
Yes.
implying the difference between the two.
Yes. Once again, it's a parody of giant robot anime. It's like, yeah, the guy goes to make a threat, he has to do it over a megaphone, and then they don't understand him because they don't speak English. And oh, yeah, the first one was a sighting, and then the second one corrects.
Well, yeah, that's why he did the eye fall thing. Then looked up for wind resistance.
Yeah. That's how you do it. That's never good. And they sing it reloading it.
Well, clearing it out first so he doesn't blow himself up.
Bricks!
They made theirs for a festival. What did the English guy build his for?
He's here to conquer Japan. He built a giant robot out of brick and wood to conquer.
Okay. Just making sure I didn't miss that part.
He announced his intention to conquer. Pointedly, the evil guy is in the rich neighborhood, destroying the rich neighborhood houses.
Tinkerbell.
Okay, he filled himself up with explosive cannonballs.
Allow this to happen.
I don't know, given the design of these things, I'd have to think that the least capable thing they'd be doing is getting into a fist fight.
Yeah, I love that they're arguing. It's like, all we're doing is destroying the town.
Like, granted, I haven't watched a whole lot of mecha. I mean, I've watched a fair share, but not like all of it. I can't think of much Meiji era mecha anime.
Yeah, it's Meiji era stuff is actually pretty rare.
Well, I just appreciate how slow the fight is because they don't move incredibly fast, so they actually have time to argue about everything they're gonna do.
That was a nice shot. Yeah, he got an upskirt shot, so she hit it with the shoe.
Was it? Because it looked like she was wearing pants with the skirt.
It doesn't matter, it's an upskirt shot. Oh, he ran out of electricity. And he ran out of coal.
Looks like there's one ship in the harbor with a cannon. Took all day to get in front of each other.
Now you will see the power of my genius.
They're still across a lake from one another.
He's reading the book the whole time.
I mean, I like this. I can watch a show if it was based on this. This is pretty good.
Yeah. The faded background. Yep.
I was saying, their mech is made of completely wood.
Also, I love when the other guy cries out in surprise. It's a giant Roman letter A. Yeah. And also for a festival, so it's not made for fighting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's got weight advantage. He's made of brick. It's literally a brick house.
Yeah, there was one guy in the brick. I love this. Oh, city! Okay, in the English dub, he goes over and says, "Oh, the city looks terrible," and then he turns over and says, "This side doesn't look too bad."
That's up for debate.
That's a setting sun, you idiot. At the end of the day.
Right over the edge.
Not seen the last of me. Just think, next time you will see my electric self-propelled artillery.
Has all the energy of 1960s Batman with the penguin submarine. That could have been made into its own show. Also, the only other one so far that have the end written at the end of it. Chicken Man and Redneck, that's something I know about. I live in the South.
Yeah, the U.S. calls this, the U.S. dub calls this Nightmare. Scoping. Let's see the dark.
Got the evil corporation thing.
The music in this is my favorite. You'll recognize what this is pretty quickly.
Hey, Nikon. Recognize them from their advertisements during Gosensu-sama. I don't know, you said I recognize it. It has a familiar feel, but I don't.
Oh wow, this is the catnapped guy.
Catnapped?
Yeah, catnapped. Also a good anime.
Did you just make a robot or you just wake up a robot?
Good question.
I'll say make. This was like making robots. Chicken Man and Redneck, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, this is the bit from Fantasia, Night on Bald Mountain, where the devil calls up all the, you know...
Oh.
Devils to...
See, I was thinking the pre-apocalypse scene from... What's the bastard?
Yeah, like, and these robots are very inspired by Hieronymus Bosch. I love the robot designs.
Wow, there is a human here.
Yep.
I guess this is why you would call it Nightmare?
Yeah, this is Chicken Neck.
You mean Chicken Man?
Yeah, Chicken Man, yeah.
Because that would have to be Redneck then.
This is Redneck, yeah, my bad.
Well, then I guess I know all the characteristics of this guy that I need to know.
I love his design.
Well, then who is Redneck supposed to portray?
He's the bad guy. He's the adversary.
Well, no, you were saying the Fantasia scene from whatever the mountain's name is, I can't remember.
Night on Bald Mountain.
Yeah, the very giant robot in the background that hit everything with would be the devil. So who is Redneck?
I love the take here where Chicken Man stares directly at the camera. Like, what the hell? And the weird robot invasiveness. Yeah, he looks like the...
Yeah, that's the devil.
Okay. Everybody hates it when I get meta. Redneck exists so we can chase Chicken Man around. The giant fish robots. Oh, I love this part.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be a grinder. Okay, giant robot chicken with boobs.
Yep. Destroying everything. So they shoot with a laser.
The ones that created it shot it with a laser.
It's just madness. Like, it's supposed to be insane. It's a nightmare.
I don't think your head's supposed to turn that far.
I don't think so either. Well, Chicken Man.
It's certainly very good video game music.
This is my favorite music. This is my favorite segment. It's so 80s. They don't do orchestral stabs anymore. Yeah, robots! The robots are just so happy!
Well, yeah, because when we get back to the giant robot and all the little robots just dancing around in madness, yeah, it feels very much like, as you said, the pull from Fantasia. But every time we go back to Redneck and Chicken Man, that just feels like it's a different thing.
Wait, there's Chicken Man in my soup. No, they drew graffiti all over the mannequin said, no reason, just everyone's crazy. Boing.
Also, I do think the music is the best part about this part. Well, I think I'm probably thinking of some like side-scroller fighting game when I hear it. Oh, that's it. This music would rarely fit in with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time.
It's very 80s. Oh, sun's coming up. Yeah, that's Redneck's job. He tells them when the sun comes up. Oop, reused shot. Ran out of money.
I just feel like the Powerpuff Girls may have like pulled from this with the boogie.
Might have.
And everything goes back to normal?
Apparently?
So I guess your moped's a little bit more damaged than before.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Maybe not so normal.
Well, it looks like the sky isn't, but the ground seemed to be normal.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the opening titles,
That have left.
I mean, the music for these parts is perfect because it's so like orchestral and whimsical, despite the fact that it's like unthinkable carnage.
Well, it's heavy on the ambiance.
Yeah.
No, are we stuck?
Yeah. Trying to get over this hill. It's the robot carnival. It's what it does.
Yep, the sun has set on the robot carnival.
Ah, there was a time when everyone was happy to see the robot carnival.
Bot invol? Oh, sorry, I'm seeing it from the side. It's just too stupid. I thought we were seeing other rolling cities or something. I don't know what the implied state of the world is with this thing. Obviously, if it was just rolling around killing everybody, it wouldn't have gotten a ship escort.
This closing credit segment here with these storyboards, this isn't in the US release. So I've never seen this part before.
It answers my earlier question of who is this for?
Yeah. Apparently the world descended into desert and ruin. The robot carnival continues.
Well, then help that it was fucking destroying everything in its path. Yeah, I guess it already sorted itself.
Yeah, that's definitely the otomo influence there of robots out of control and then destroying themselves. Yep. That's it. That's the end of the robot carnival.
Waiting to see if there's anything else, or any final thing. I guess it's going to be 8 minutes of credits. So, while that's playing. So, what do you say your favorite one was?
Nightmare is my favorite segment. The Chicken Man and Redneck is my favorite segment because it's I love the music. I love the character designs, like just the madness of it. It's just a sheer joy of animation. The expressiveness in the characters. It's my favorite segment.
I'd have to say Presence was mine.
Presence is also good because I think it's the most. Presence is the one that's the most demanding, I think, of the audience. You have to like think about what's going on there, and of course, I like the Meiji restoration.
Yeah, Westerners and Invasion. I would say that's my second favorite as well. I mean, with presence, though, I mean, like you said, it's the one that's demanding. It makes you think about it. Well, the fact I could actively think about it and really understand what was going on really helped. Unlike, say, Cloud, which...
Cloud, and like I said, I think people shouldn't think too hard about Cloud. Cloud, a lot of this was, we gave you a bunch of money, do whatever you want with it as long as there's a robot. And so Franken's gears, and even more so Cloud, are let's do a bunch of animation techniques. Let's do optical compositing. Let's do different backgrounds. There's a multi-planing shot in Franken gears for no reason.
Well, I mean, with Franken gears, though, Franken's gears, I understand there was still a story there. Unlike Cloud, maybe there was one in Cloud. It's very hard to interpret, but Franken's gears, you could tell the emotion on the scientist's face, what he was trying to accomplish, his ultimate downfall. It was all very easy to read, even though there was no text to it or a background.
Oh, here we go. Stinger. Well, another of Tomo's favorite themes, time. You know, time passes on. Like, you don't know what this is. It's just weird rock slabs or something.
It's a giant O in the sand.
No, weird llama. Huh. This might be worth something. It's shiny. Tiny, miserable house in the middle of nowhere. See, post-apocalypse metaphors, because it's all parts.
So I brought it up like 3 times during this. I'm thinking back once again to heavy metal.
Yep.
It's evil, don't touch it. Oh, it is an explosive. We've seen that before.
It's a tiny little Carnival. Aww, singing at children.
I was hoping that it was just, you know, a happy thing. Given the past we saw the Robot Carnival being actually just entertainment. At some point it turned into a weapon.
Look at the llama stuck on its back. It's hilarious. Yeah, no, I mean, I love that stinger of an ending, because once again, it's a Tomo, because that's a theme that he likes, which is, it's horrible carnage, but not illustrated, because, like, there's no stinger after this. I'm okay, the family's alive, they don't show them. No, they're gone.
Yeah, like the village that they ran over. I will say the opening ending is probably my 3rd favorite.
The opening, it's beautiful. It just sets the tone. It's just
much in that same way that I originally said when it was starting off, was like, is this a Monty Python sort of thing? That the Monty Python opening sketches are sketches in themselves. There's no wasted material.
Yes, and also it's got that let's do something that's very dark, violent, and absurdist, but we're going to play it incredibly straight. In fact, one thing that's great about this is the box art for Robot Carnival has like the ballerina dancer on it. So you get it's like, oh, Robot Carnival, oh, look at this happy dancer. And then you go watch, it's like, oh my God. Yes, I love Robot Carnival. And like speaking, like, as an old person here, when this came out, it was like, you know, it was, yeah, this is like, this is what Rafferty remembers as anime, the promise of anime. You could have, you know, stories about girls having, you know, spats about boyfriends. You could have a robot that goes to save and fights evil guy. You could have incomprehensible stuff like Cloud. You could have bizarre experimental stuff. It could be anything.
Well, as I said, my early experience with anime was what got imported into the US in the mid-90s, which also itself got switched up, as I believe I told you before, like Galaxy Express 999 with its Roger Corman edit filled with nonsense of its own ilk. So
yeah, like this is, I mean, sure, I think they did some, Streamline did some changing. But it's before Carl Macri, before the or Carl McKeag. But yeah, let's take Robotech and chop up a bunch of stuff and just repackage it and stuff. So and I've never seen it in this UHD restoration. So they did a really nice job on it.
Yeah, my first contact with it. So I'll take it what you say. Oh, I don't know. That cloud one was the difficult one to get through, and unfortunately for me, your favorite one was also sort of a difficult one for me because I didn't pull much from it.
Nightmare?
Yeah.
Well, you like the music?
Yeah. But again, it's like I was having the feeling of playing an arcade cabinet of Turtles in Time, listening to the music, which is great. But I guess I also don't pull much from Night on whatever mountain, the Fantasia thing.
Night on Bald Mountain?
Yeah, I guess because that's also just music for me as well.
Yeah, well, it's got very much a Fantasia feel to it.
I guess the imagery works better too for me because it's like demonic imagery of chaos, of the devil summoning people to their doom, versus this, which was coward running away from robot.
The imagery is like, yeah, I can understand people. The music, I think, is great. Like, especially, I would recommend getting the soundtrack to this because the soundtrack is really good.
Like Carnival, that's the name I couldn't remember.
Yeah, so the music is good. I like that the robot designs are a mix of Hieronymus Bosch, also puppets from festivals because they're fish on giant stilts. There's the madness going on of where there's the one, like for some reason there's it looks like it might be a human mannequin robot, but when you look back at it, a bunch of robots scroll graffiti all over its face. Because madness, and it's a whole madness, and it's also over pretty quickly. Like it's even shorter than the cloud segment. The cloud segment, I think, is the one that loses people a lot. And once again, I think cloud was there because that impresses other animation people. Like the effects in that, if you show that to your VFX people, they would probably be talking about how complicated it is to do. It's 3 optical effects that I can see all synchronized on top of each other, which would have been incredibly difficult. But once again, the audience just is making something difficult, just doing it for the sake of how difficult it is, art. And the answer is, well, not for most casuals, no.
Well, is it art? It is an art. It's an art form to do something complicated that only you can do. That's why cooking is an art, right? So, but some people say it's a science. I would agree that it is an art to do that, even though it's something I don't find particularly interesting to watch, because that is art for people in the space, I feel like.
Right. I mean, it's insider. It's like, an exhibition that would really impress people, And once again, it's also like, I admit the cloud part is hard to sit through. It's the kind of thing I would fast forward through.
Oh, I wasn't getting that. I was just trying to understand what's going on. Like, as I was saying, what's the impression I'm supposed to be getting here? Because if the impression is, look at something complicated that I did, obviously then I'm not the audience for it. But it feels like you chose cherubs, you chose a skyline, you chose what feels like World War III, and I'm trying to read into it. He doesn't turn around for anything until a cherub blows on his back after everything else has happened.
Yeah,
and
I think,
is that the emotion that I'm supposed to pull from it, or is it the emotion that you just made something evocative to see what people would pull from it?
Well, it is kind of the combination of cloud is weather, cloud is heaven, and cloud is mushroom, but no, I think I'm glad they had the presence segment. I'm really glad that's there because presence is once again challenging. It's also got the metaphor in the background. Like, he's got the toys on his table and he's got his toy robot, but girlfriend, something, he works on. When she starts to become more emotionally complex, he just kills her?
Well, despite having a daughter already, again, he says he never felt a mother's love, so it seems like implicitly he's trying to build a daughter, even though he's built a daughter. But then...
Which is weird, because he already has a daughter, so why is he building one?
Then the daughter falls in love, the robot daughter falls in love with him, it seems, and that's when he freaks out. So
Right.
already they didn't even have the same sort of relationship intersection that they wanted to have.
There's also like the metaphorical sequence where she says, "I want to see the world," and one of the UFOs flies out the window.
Yes, into a future animation 3 down the line.
Right. And the devil, the devil like robot is all flies in the opposite direction. And also when after he, smashes his robot, the devil toy appears again and knocks over the other toy. Which that other toy comes back at the end of the movie reconfigured to look like her. It's like it's complicated with no easy answers, and that's another old Rafferty yells at cloud thing, which is, I like the fact that some of the segments in this don't have easy answers. Some of them are very easy answers. Deprive is very easy, but
Again, I guess that's the level that I'm on. Easy answers. By the way, on the wiki for this, Starlight Angel mentions something that you brought up before. The mood of the segment was heavily influenced by the music video for Aha's Take on Me. Yeah. But there's also the note, some cameos of Akira movie characters appear in the background characters. So, well, that's why when I said, that's the general from Akira, I may not have noticed anybody else. General guy, I am always spotting people in anime that look just like him, so...
Right, so this would have been simultaneous with Akira. I think this released before Akira. But yeah, no, so you're just, doing shout-outs.
Well, I just wanted to bring that one up because we didn't talk about it yet, and it was like, that was also a good one for me, even though it was also somewhat interpretational as to what was happening. Although, according to this, it's very much easy to read.
Well, I think it's a fantasy sequence. I think it's implied she goes into the ride, and what's interesting about Deprive and Starlight Angel is they both do have the challenge that there will be no narration or voiceover. So, and they only have like 3 minutes to tell a story, and I think both Deprive is macho robot comes to save girlfriend from weird robot torture. And Starlight Angel is, from the girl's point of view or whatever, where she gets captured by a giant robot, cries about it, and her crying power inspires her savior to come save her. Those are very much young adult type, escapist, reinforcing themes. But there's a craft to, we only have 3 minutes to tell this entire story, and we have no dialogue. So how do we do it?
I very much feel like I've seen a Western cartoon version of Deprive in movie form before.
Well, Deprive is very cliche. Like it's
right. I mean, I want to say it was like an early '90s thing, so it wouldn't have been that far separated from this. Like somebody may have seen this and made a thing. But I cannot, for the life of me, remember what I'm.
Well, the Deprive is like there's a gazillion anime of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Western version now.
Yeah,
like a Western cartoon movie, but an adult movie.
I could see Westerners swiping from it. I mean, I've been on and on about the swipes from that Steven Universe takes. So, and this is a great one. But once again, what I like about this is there's a bunch of different segments from various, like Otomo's subversion of Robot Carnival's, here we are for the Robot Carnival, and he sets the tone of everyone dies.
Yeah. Well, again, that's the difference between, say, the opening of Robot Carnival and the last one. What was the last one?
Time of Eve?
No. The last anthology bit in this that you really liked.
Nightmare?
Yeah, Nightmare. That's the difference between those two things for me, is that one followed a theme, a consistent storyline of events that I knew what was happening, or could very easily put into a box, let's say, versus Nightmare just seemed chaos, which is why I appreciated the opening more than Nightmare. I guess at the end of the day, my point of view is less interpretation, more tell me what's going on.
Right, and that's why I think Cloud is going to lose a lot of people, because I think Cloud is very much the fields.
Well, ironically, reading the wiki is exactly what I thought. He's just an immortal robot going through time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's what I felt was going on. I was gonna say, God, I can't. Fire Fist. Have you ever read Fire Fist?
No.
Fire Fist is from the same creator as Chainsaw Man. It just never got animated or anything. It's a manga about a dystopian future where he literally has regenerative powers, but the town he lives in doesn't have a lot of food. If you see where I'm going with this.
I do. That's a common theme.
Well, the thing is that there's a certain number of people in this world that have like powers, I want to say, but it's a dystopian future. Like one guy has the power to set you on fire with a fire that will never go out.
Yeah.
So he shows up in the town with like a military group to basically find food and people with powers and whatnot. And they start to stand up for him. And he ends up setting the Fire Fist, that character, and his sister on fire with his never goes out fire. His sister's regenerative powers aren't as strong as his. She just dies. He suffers for years with a fire that won't go out in a pain, just in pain. Like, he never completely heals. He's constantly in a state of his flesh is burning. He's like down to like the skeletal muscle structure for years, dealing with the pain before he's able to even move a little bit.
Well, Robot Carnival's not as dark as that. And also, Robot Carnival keeps the fluids and violence to a minimum in some.
That's the element of the background of Cloud made me imagine. Because there is near the end, after we're done with like the personal relationships and whatnot of Fire Fist, he is basically immortal due to his regeneration, even though he's just on fire all the time and in constant pain. That the end of it is kind of like I'm going to outlive humanity and the earth and everything. Sort of like a montage of just the future. And that's what the Cloud reminded me of, that he's walking through, as I kept saying, World War III and what's being represented here. And according to the wiki, that is exactly what it is. It's kind of you remember the movie AI, a robot just outliving humanity.
I could see that, but it doesn't quite explain why he becomes a human at the end. And if it is what he's doing, then he's ripping off Phoenix by Tezuka, who he has to be familiar with because he's animated Tezuka Productions.
According to the wiki, that's exactly what happens. And also that's what happens at the end of AI. So I don't know.
Well, remember, I think the wiki with a grain of salt. Wiki is random people posting random stuff.
Right. But I have to throw in a little bit with it because that's what I thought was happening while I was watching it. So, you know how contrarian I typically am? In this case, I agree with the consensus of what other people think because it's what I also thought.
I mean, I can see it, but once again, it also, just because that's what it is doesn't necessarily mean, it comes across that way or is what it's supposed to be. But that's a bigger debate whether the author was successful or not. I don't want to diminish Cloud. I'm going to stand up and say Cloud is clearly an animator wanting to do a lot of complicated special effects. Oh, and I guess there's no more robot.
Well, like you said, I think Cloud has more weight if it has meaning, and it's hard to find any personal meaning in Cloud beyond, as I said, the fact that we saw angels in the clouds, and then all of a sudden there's a nuclear explosion, and then there's rockets launching, and there's more nuclear explosions, and it's the typical depiction of nuclear war and everything. And I didn't bring it up, but something that came to my mind was that literally earlier today when me and Lessons were recording Legends of the Galactic Heroes, is that we also brought up that Ray Bradbury story of the self-operating house, where the story ends with the house burning down, and and you see or you don't see, it's a story. It describes the outline of the bodies of human figures rather on the wall outside of the house, implying that a nuclear war is happening. I don't know. That's kind of also the feeling that I got from watching Cloud.
Yeah, that was a popular theme in the 80s. I mean, I will also reply to this saying, the act of making art itself can be personal. Like I said, if it was difficult to composite all of these and sit down and do the math do the timing, get this in the optical cameras, and get it all to come out correctly. That in and of itself is, yes, I did this. Like you talked about cooking earlier. It's like, cooking the perfect cake or whatever, or making the perfect movie shot. That can be personal because, yes, we did it. But once again, it's like, yes, if I run a 4-minute mile, that would be amazing achievement for me. But it's not a record. It's not necessarily a good exhibition sport. It might just have meaning to me and other people who are impressed that I could do it.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean,
sometimes something is just there to be in itself.
Well, that cooking metaphor you brought up that I brought up earlier was to Cloud. So that sometimes the creation of the thing is art of its own. But again, being presented to it, I have to, as a consumer of it, I have to figure out if this is evocative of something or if it's something's being evoked for me, and that's the difficulty I find with Cloud.
And I'm really gonna sit there saying, like, the thing that makes me think it's mostly just to show off a bunch of effects and feels is it barely ties into the theme. Like, there's a character that's a robot for some of it that just walks, whereas the focus is clearly on things that are not robots. Whereas everything else in the anthology clearly has robot as a thing.
That's why I brought up the Bruce Banner aspect there. It's a guy walking down the road. Might as well have his thumb out.
Now, people who like Cloud really like Cloud because, like I said, it's full of feels and it's got a lot of good still images in it that are very evocative. So, I think my major issue with Cloud is I think Cloud goes on too long. I get it, and it's designed to show off a lot of effects, but it does tax people's patience, especially on repeat viewings, because even though I agree that it was technically challenging, it's not, whereas in the other segments, I've seen this anime several times, and now I'm seeing it restored, and I'm seeing new things in the other segments that's just jumping out at me.
All right. Well, that was Robot Carnival, but we've also got this extra segment here at the end. If you're ready to go ahead and chop onto that.
I think I can call that up. Yeah, like you can see that they do the dissolves in the shadow that falls across it because they're saving frames.
The memory of Robot Carnival.
Many Americans know Robot Carnival from the early days of anime fandom. Back in the early 90s, the film was a staple of video rental chains and cable TV broadcasts.
Apologies to you, the viewer. There's no subtitles for this one. It's just in English.
Beauty of animation coming from Japan. But the story of Robot Carnival starts much earlier than that. In spring of 1985, producer Kazufumi Nobara's small animation
mentioning
studio,
how this
APPP,
was a popular import.
The 4th episode of its soft-core adult anime OVA.
Another pushpin planning.
Cream Lemon. This episode was a standalone half-hour comedy called Pop Chaser, and it was directed by a talented young man named Hiroyuki Kitakubo. The episode was visually stunning for an adult film, featuring amazing animation by adult anime standards.
I meant Pop Chaser.
Had a sharp sense of humor.
Never heard of Pop Chaser.
Pop Chaser was a huge hit, and Nomura asked Kitakubo if he'd like to do more work with the studio. Kitakubo was ambitious, but he was not happy working on adult animation. Uncertain of what to do next, Kitakubo asked his friend Koji Morimoto for advice. Morimoto was already an established and respected animator, having debuted as a key animator on Ashita no Joe 2 back in 1980.
That sounds very familiar.
Going on to work on movies like Space Adventure Cobra, Armageddon, The Professional, Golgo 13, Lensman, Macross, Do You Remember Love, and several
Watch that on the channel.
At this point, he was working on a curious little 45-minute film called Manie Manie. Labyrinth Tales consisted of 3 short films from 3 different well-known directors.
I've never seen that one.
Morimoto was again working as a key animator.
Also in '87, though.
Manga artist katsuhiro
yeah, it looks like
that
started first.
Construction Cancellation Order. The two talked at length about doing something that nobody had ever seen before. Animators in those days were usually stuck working on long, grueling TV series that doubled as toy commercials. Productions were entirely financially dependent on a sponsor who had a great deal of influence over what ideas could be animated. Being able to work on every aspect of production, creating whatever you wanted, was a mind-blowing prospect for an animator. This also being the early MTV era, music videos were all the rage. Nomada's original idea involved making images based on a song.
Fair enough, I didn't think about the MTV era on any of this.
Transformed into each animator creating individual short stories. What began as plans for a 45-minute project turned into a feature-length OVA.
Right, this is why I think this is a huge
As luck
influence
would
on
have it,
Daft Punk,
Morimoto had
because
several
like
very
you
talented
use
animator
music
friends
and
working with him on Labyrinth Tales.
animated tell
One
a
of the
story.
people closest to him was key animator Takeshi Nakamura, who was also working on the same short for Labyrinth Tales. During work breaks, the two would often go off and excitedly talk about Robot Carnival. As the idea began to take
The
shape,
choice of which
they recruited
animation
several
thing
of their
to
coworkers,
bring up with it. They would
including
excitedly
Katsuhiro
talk to two
Otomo,
little girls to it.
Atsuko Fukushima, and Mao Lamdo. Meanwhile, Kitakubo invited Yasuomi Umetsu onto the project, and later reached out to Hiroyuki Kitazume and Hidetoshi Omori, who were better known to fans, under the theory that their involvement would get the public interested in the film. The idea came of giving the shorts a unifying theme. After a lot of discussion, it was going to be either girls or robots. Robots won out, specifically because so much robot-themed TV anime was being made at the time.
Yeah, this is before Otomo's famous, because I was thinking like Otomo would have been the big draw.
Robot Carnival's intent was to put the human back in humanoids, so to speak. Being an OVA, it was possible to make it a more mature-themed work, aimed at adult audiences. But it was promised that if there was
does
ever
feel
a
like he has
part
extra
two,
frames in
it
him.
would be girl-themed. Kazufumi Nomura again served as producer, splitting his time between this and Project Eiko, another big feature-length animator dream project that emerged from the Cream Lemon series. He gave the selected animators completely free rein to do whatever they wanted, with no restrictions on length or content. Each short film's team set to work in secret, often not communicating with any of the other teams at all.
I haven't seen that. I haven't seen most 80s anime movies.
Nomura juggled each team, which was always curious about how far the other teams were in coming along with their shorts. Years later, Nomura would recount, quote, "That's part of why we ended up behind schedule," end quote. He added that making Robot Carnival was very hard, both logistically and financially. In most cases, the auteur for each project would do most of the heavy lifting alone. This included writing, designs, storyboards, layouts, and nearly all key animation. Each short took between 9 months and 2 years to complete. Including pre-production, the entire production of Robot Carnival took nearly 3 years. Composer Joe Hisaishi
Yeah, no doubt that's why I had to start in '85.
Initially, each of Robot Carnival's shorts was to have a different composer, but Hisaishi was given the task for every one of them except for Cloud. This was in order to give the film a feeling of unity. Hisaishi met with each animator to discuss their project and to talk about what sort of music they had in mind, but could not wait until any of the films were complete before he started composing. Today, Hisaishi is world-renowned for scoring nearly all of Hayao Miyazaki's films. The disparate nature of each of Robot Carnival's shorts made production far more difficult than a typical anime feature. Technical director Sachio Suzuki noted that he had to be careful not to put too much of himself.
Yeah, I really think the composer
because the individual
really rose
style
to
of
the
each
challenge.
director was so important. Each
I mean, it
short
had to.
averaged between 8,000 and
The majority of it
9,000
has
frames
no
of animation, more than
vocals.
what you get in a TV episode.
Right, but
nearly
the
3 times as
compositions
long. Technical director
sound
Hideki
thematically
Tomakatsu
different for
worked on
different parts.
opening, ending, and Franken's gear. He likened the job to making sure the directors didn't go too crazy. In retrospect, Robot Carnival was capturing lightning in a bottle. All of these animators were in the prime of their careers, anxious to prove themselves by making something completely original. Had the project not started when it did, assembling this team of animators would have been impossible. Many of the animators on staff dreamt that if the film was successful, it would move the needle of the industry, making it more focused on the animators' visions rather than the needs of a sponsor. However, anthology films very seldom do well in any genre. It's tough to sell an audience on
I
a
always
bunch of
remember
stories in
memories.
one package rather than
Ironically.
just a single story. And despite high hopes and dreams for a sequel,
That's a good anthology film, I
Robot
mean.
Carnival was a bomb.
It is.
The VHS and VHD releases from JVC came out on July 21st, 1987.
But
and a Laserdisc
this
from
one they
Bandai
wouldn't
Visual
have
came out
gotten
a
this
year
Dream
later.
Team any
But
other
they all
time.
landed with a thud. And that movie Labyrinth Tales that so many of the staff were recruited from That ended up not getting released in Japan until a few months after Robot Carnival. Then it also face-planted in the Japanese market. Robot Carnival was far more popular outside of Japan. It's been screened at multiple film festivals, and it enjoyed a brief theatrical release in the United States in early 1991 via a small anime distributor known as Streamline Pictures, a company co-founded by Carl Macek, the man who created the successful TV show Robotech by fusing together
Look,
three unrelated anime
I'm not going to
series,
say anything good.
and Jerry Beck, who had a long background in film distribution and indie animation.
You have to understand
That's
that Streamline
Macek, okay.
Pictures was Jerry Beck
Yeah.
in a room with a phone, with a
The guy that kept
landline,
him across out of
and
most
Carl
American
in
hands
another room
for many
working on,
years.
you know, maybe he's rewriting the dialogue for the next picture we're going to do, and his wife Svea in another room working on the posters or the
Running an
video
exo
boxes
scam
and
on his
things.
back.
Fred Patton sending out some of the posters and stills.
Streamline Pictures was founded to try and bring anime and other artistically notable animation to a mainstream US audience.
We wanted the highest level of Japanese anime. We wanted stuff that wasn't just, you know,
Fred Patton's a
fighting
big
and blood
game
and
in
guts and
furry
spaceships.
circles. There's a
We
lot of
wanted
crossover
stuff
between
that we could
furries and
distribute
Streamline.
to this first-run art market. That was one thing. We also wanted to show anime in its best possible light. We also knew that we were trying to introduce this to a mainstream US audience.
Robot Carnival was only their fifth release, but the company had already tasted success with Katsuhiro Otomo's Akira, which became a surprise cult hit. The US premiere was January 25th,
Well, I mean, no doubt, it's
1991,
Akira.
at the Cinema 21 in Portland, Oregon.
Sissy
Expanded
boy?
to a few other cities during its small art house theatrical run.
9 animators, 1 vision.
We were selling it like it was a Japanese festival of animation.
It was a regular staple in a
caveat
retro
of
cinema.
That it featured a sequence by this artist who had done Akira. Like anybody, because this film's kind of troubled in its distribution, we didn't know how to sell it exactly ourselves. And
Robot Carnival, the animation event of the year.
Strangely enough, there were these 2 really great poster images for the movie. You know, one was the Otomo Robot Carnival, and I think the other one was Otomo too, which was the 2 little dancing figures. And we literally could not figure out which one should we use, which one was better. And we ended up doing both. We decided we would run 2 posters. Now, that doesn't sound that unusual today, but doing 2 posters for one movie was so odd. But we did it. You know, we did it because we just think they were both great, and we didn't know, and we just gave people a choice, so we'd send both posters to the theater.
As part of their ethos, Streamline made every effort to keep their films as unaltered as possible, while still presenting them entirely in English, as opposed to a foreign film, which weren't widely seen in those
I've never
days,
seen
as
Golgo
many
13
Americans
either,
were
so I'm just
easily
paying attention.
spooked
Like, he
by foreign
shoots, he
language.
scores, he'll blow you away.
Of a Japanese cartoon.
Oh, we
in
can
a
see
theater
Golgo
with
13. I would love to see
subtitles
that.
Well, it didn't happen before. It never happened at that time. And the attitude, not only by movie distributors, but by the theater owners, was with a cartoon, no matter how sophisticated or R-rated it is, was it's a cartoon. There's this perception in this country, in the United States, that cartoons are for kids. So the idea of a cartoon with subtitles was something they just would not play. They would not do it. We had to dub them.
Streamline dubbed the 2 short films that had dialogue, and rearranged the order of all the shorts so that the film would fit on fewer of the reels that were used to transport.
There was always that
35mm
running
movies
joke in the
to
80s
theaters
that
at a
anime,
significant
especially
cost
hentai
savings.
porn or whatever,
This
would
is the way
show
all
up in the
movies were
kids
done back
section
those
because,
days.
they would look at the
Everything was
box of the
designed for
VHS and say,
22
oh, it's a
minutes.
cartoon.
Even
Just
regular
put
feature
it with the
films.
other kid
It
stuff.
wasn't cut that way. You know, we had to rejigger it so that it would work.
I'll have to work
so
in
that these 2
Blockbuster of the
segments would
era.
fit into 22 minutes, or this one is, 17 or whatever the
Well,
timings are. We just
yeah, I
had
think
to figure
Blockbuster's
it
a little
out.
bit better at it. It's usually the mom and pop stores or Suncoast.
Because we thought that was going to turn people off, actually. As much as I think it's spectacular.
Oh.
It's
Sorry, I just noticed there was also a plesiosaurus in the background of Cloud.
Walking, and we might have,
Yeah,
for
like I
10
said, there's a lot of
seconds
stuff
thought
in there
about
that I
if
think
there's
is
a way
just,
to get
you know,
rid
like,
of it, but
why?
we didn't.
I mean, yeah, well, it's all of history,
Additionally,
remember?
title screens were replaced,
So
and
they go
most
from
of
a
the ending
dinosaur to a
segment was cut
brain to
remove the
clouds.
Japanese
Oh, I didn't think that was a brain. I thought it was supposed to be a jellyfish. fish.
city in this
Life in the
country
oceans.
has an art theater, at least one.
Oh,
The
yeah, I
goal
can
was
see
to
it.
play every one of those theaters. And that, what would that be? 50 theaters, because we're talking
Yeah,
one in
this
each
I've
state.
never seen this
a lot of
before.
times we
Rocky
were only
Horror.
playing for 2
Oh, that
days,
right
3
there in the
days
middle.
a week. Rarely and occasionally more
Yeah,
than a
I
week.
would play at
But
our reps
that was
and
what that was how we did things. It was a very small, but you know what? That's the way we did it at Orion Classics and United Artists Classics. Probably didn't do that well, but every theater after Akira wanted to play anime because, as they told me, you're bringing in an audience. It's not our usual audience. We know. We want another audience. The reviews were just general, kind of like what you'd expect of a review if it were reviewing a
They all
festival of
blend together.
animation. So
Not a
we
great
actually review
one,
each
that one.
sequence. It wasn't any great shakes, I don't think they felt. Akira was great shakes. Wicked City was great shakes. You know, it was something really different.
Well, I would,
Robot
that
Carnival, I have to
one
say that
is
the
I
attitude
think,
was that they didn't feel it was like
The hits are
groundbreaking.
memorable.
But even then, it was considered there was no money in theatrical distribution. The money
some
was
of
in home video.
the
That was
ticks there, and also
prevailing
yeah,
wisdom,
mostly
and
miss. It's kind of
subsequent
like
TV sale,
you know,
things like that.
Mick LaSalle here is
And
wondering like you
here
know
we
where's
are, and we're
where's
saying,
the
well, we're gonna
talking,
put
where's
them
the
in movie
action,
theaters, and there's no money in it.
and yeah, here's a
Dub
review by
Streamline
William
Pictures version was
Stevenson that
released on
talks
video
about
in December 1991
the technical
as
side.
Streamline's fourth home video
Yeah,
release.
like he's agreeing with
and was
me.
made widely
This was a very
available
much
for
a
rental
technical
at Blockbuster video
showcase
stores across
first,
North America
and
as part of
some
an
of the
assortment of
story
early
second.
anime VHS releases.
The American
I've never seen that
video
cover.
distributors weren't interested in this Japanese animation stuff. The video stores didn't know us from Adam. We're not one of the regular distributors. We had to get a distributor.
Fantasia for the
They didn't know
90s.
us as a company. We were nothing. And so we said, you know what? Let's put this in the comic book stores on VHS. And we looked into how to do that. There were 2 comic book distributors
Yeah,
then.
I guess we did have the
Diamond
different version
Comics
from the
and,
VHS
and
version.
Capital City. I think they're the
What the
main
hell is the
distributor
Bloom
of
Group?
products
That was
to comic book
interesting.
stores.
VHS version
We got
said it was
listed in
only
their
90
thing.
minutes. The version
Started
we
taking
watched was an
orders.
hour and...
We called it Video Comics. You might
Never
remember
mind, I'm
that
just
on
bad at
site.
math, as it
That's why we
turns
did
out.
that on purpose because we were selling in comic book stores.
I
We were
wonder
trying
if
to
the Bloom
introduce
Group
the
is
idea
Blumhouse.
of comics you can animate.
But probably not.
Animation you could only buy.
Well, really, I don't think it's related to
comic
Stephen
book
Bloom.
store. Not in a regular video store.
I wouldn't think
At
so.
the time, there was no online sales. There was no Amazon. Nowhere else. Just in a comic book store. And it worked. It was selling. And we were
Go
suddenly in
figure
the
that
video
comic book
business, and
nerds liked
before we knew
anime.
it,
Just shot in the dark and we took it.
and Central Park Media and Manga, all these companies came up out of nowhere to compete with us. These are like wonderful memories I have of my Streamline days. We did a lot of great stuff, and you know, even if nobody else knew it, I knew that we made a difference. We moved the needle a little bit, you know.
JVC Musical Industries also released the Robot Carnival CD soundtrack in the US via its Los Angeles office around this time. The film was also shown on several cable TV networks, including Sci-Fi Channel in June of 1993, as the premiere
Oh
entry
yeah,
in
that's
their
right. It was
popular
in the early
Adventures
90s
in
that they were
Japanese
showing
Animation
anime
programming
on Sci-Fi Channel.
Next on the
Yeah, Robot Carnival was a popular one. Okay, the Bloom Group is a private equity group.
Moments.
For what purpose
Yeah.
do I exist?
I never
I
programmed you to say
think,
those words.
I think this was on Sci-Fi Channel, so yeah.
Images of entering into a strange new reality. Robot Carnival. Next.
The English home video release was dedicated to Lisa Michelson, a regular voice actress for Streamline Pictures who voiced the girl in Presence and Yayoi in Meiji Machines. Michelson's performances in Robot Carnival were among her last, as she was killed in a car accident on September 14th, 1991.
Jesus.
Laserdisc manufacturer LumaVision released the film on bilingual Laserdisc in October 1993, although there were no subtitles to match the Japanese audio. As Streamline Pictures virtually never released subtitled versions of their videos, this was the only chance American fans had to hear the film's original language track. The full version of Ending was also
that version
included
was
as a
10 minutes
bonus,
longer.
though the footage was pulled from a VHS tape and didn't look so hot. Also included was Streamline's theatrical trailer. The segments were once again rearranged to accommodate Laserdisc's limit of 60 minutes of running time per side. A disclaimer on the disc jacket noted that producer Kazufumi Nomura had approved of the presentation order. In 1994, Streamline licensed trading card rights to publisher Cornerstone Communications, who released a set of 81 Robot Carnival trading cards, branded as masters of Japanese animation. The cards featured art from the film on the front,
It's never been my area. I can't imagine
Streamline
collecting
also had a small
cards
division
for
that
this.
produced resin model kits, which were known
Yeah,
as
cards were,
Streamline 3D, and
a
later
thing. They're
Streamline
on and off.
Pictures Model
Maybe the
Works.
model kit
These were
would
all
have been my
produced
thing.
in-house from custom molds by a small crew at Streamline's warehouse office in Los Angeles. On March 4th, 1995, at a local model
Specifically
convention,
the Presence
Streamline
one.
released 2 resin model kits based on Robot Carnival. One of the dancing robots from Opening, and the girl from Presence, which had been christened Umetsu's Fantasy Girl.
Yeah. I probably would have liked Emutsu's Fantasy Girl. That would make sense to me.
Which Streamline had renamed Nightmare, as well as one of the robot from Starlight Angel, were released the following July.
I like
The
that.
division was sold 2
Make
years later,
the two
when
people a
Streamline
little
had to move to
tiny.
a smaller office space and didn't have room for manufacturing.
Nightmare, yeah.
However, Umetsu's Fantasy
Was that Nightmare?
Girl
I think that was
one
Starlight.
of the division's best sellers. Streamline
Also,
Pictures
I'm-
licensed to Robot Carnival.
Oh, you're slightly behind me. I know. I recognize
the
it.
video glitched out a little bit. I think I'm a little
Original
behind.
producer Nomura received many inquiries to re-release the film in the US.
I didn't know these toys
including one
existed.
that suggested adding another 30 minutes of material.
See, that's the
But none of them panned
VHS.
out
The
for many
budget
years.
VHS release is the one.
Streamline closed in March 2002, and its
it was
owner and dub
everywhere for
director
a while.
Carl Masek passed away of a heart attack in April 2010.
Not long after,
word of mouth
Robotech
spread in Japan,
was not
and
the
Robot
only
Carnival gained a cult
version
following.
across Americans
The
could see.
original Laserdisc became increasingly rare and valuable.
Nothing good to say.
In the year 2000, Bandai's Beam Entertainment digitally remastered Robot Carnival for DVD. Finally, 15 years later, Eastern Star was able to secure the rights for a US re-release.
Well, looking back at Robot Carnival now, I think it's more of a masterpiece than I think I realized back then. It was kind of another film for us. It had otomo in it. It had some great artsy segments in it. It might have been a little bit of a hard sell theatrically. I'm an optimist and I'm a progressive. And when I was distributing Akira and Robot Carnival, my feeling was this is just the beginning and this stuff's gonna get better and better and better. But I look back at it now and I don't know how much better. I've seen some great anime since, but it's been drips and drabs here and there. There really was a little
Sorry,
golden
really
age
knocking the
of
creators
anime
of
in
the
late
last
80s, early 90s.
40
and I think
years.
Robot Carnival sums it up. It really does. It sums up what was happening then. It hasn't aged at all. It still
You're
looks
muted,
great
by
to
the
me.
way.
Oh, sorry.
However,
yeah,
this
there
was the year
is a
2015,
shift in
and to give Robot
anime
Carnival the
from,
re-release it deserved,
the
a
early
new
2000s, where
high-definition
it's done
remaster
primarily for the
was
Japanese market,
APPP was
to
able to unearth the original
modern
camera
era,
negative,
where it's done for
which had been
international
cut up
market,
slightly to
that
produce
has
streamlined
made
theatrical
significant
print.
changes in what we
The
see
film
and
was
how they
taken
do
to
it.
Japan's top film and video lab, Imagica, where a brand new 2K optical scan was produced, restored, and color corrected. Minor photography mistakes were also fixed, and some film damage to Franken's gear and Starlight Angel was removed. There were originally both full-frame 4x3 and widescreen
Yeah,
letterbox
this
versions
I
of
will
Robot
say
Carnival.
this color
But according
correction
to Nomura, widescreen
is
the preferred
amazing.
format for the film, so that's what we're showing you here. The one exception is Cloud, which uses the full film frame to achieve its look.
Didn't have to mess
Presenting
with
it here in
Cloud
its
at all.
Original aspect ratio with pillar boxing. Unfortunately, while each of the animated segments are intact, most of the Japanese text screens are missing. We painstakingly reconstructed them based on old video footage. Discotech Media is proud to present Robot Carnival in a stunning high-definition widescreen format. It is the best the film has ever looked. As for those other films we mentioned, Manie Manie Labyrinth Tales was released by Streamline in 1992 under the title Neo Tokyo. To tie the
That
film
was
in
nice that
with
they
the success of
reconstructed
Akira.
the missing Japanese
It
text.
got a theatrical release as a double feature with Silent Movies.
Yeah, I'm constantly seeing stuff
as
that
well as a
Discotech
VHS
is
release and a later DVD release
remastered.
from ABV
They
Films.
posted on Twitter all the time.
Project Eiko, APPP's other animator dream project, was another highly influential early anime release in the US and the UK, this time from competitor Central Park Media.
Oh, Silent
It's available
Mobius.
now from Discotech Media.
Have you seen that?
Nope.
That's another one to watch, I would say, gritting my teeth.
As I said, most anime movies I didn't watch. I think I've shared that my experience has been mostly Galaxy Express, Memories, Studio Ghibli films.
Yeah, there used to be before the big, I always refer to Suncoast, which I'm sure is an impression here. Because there was the big anime boom in the 90s, like bit boom pow, cartoons aren't for kids anymore, and they were aggressively bringing a whole bunch of stuff over. So the early animes have certain staples of what's in them. There's Project Eiko, there's Smash Beat City, there's Robot Carnival was everywhere, Kira obviously was everywhere, Memories was everywhere.
Oh yeah, obviously I watched Akira.
See, I think Robot Carnival and Memories were available because they're kind of bearing the lead here because they were probably not expensive gets. Akira was probably a very expensive get for them, but it was worth it because they knew it was going to be gangbusters. So, but these other ones, because they did so poorly. And also, I think what we're discussing here in the theme here is, as much as I'm complaining, why is anime so samey? Why are we seeing all the same toyetic stuff where it's all the same, sexy teenagers save the world? And it's like, well, here's Robot Carnival and Memories, experiments to do other stuff with anime. By the way, they tanked big time. No one wanted to see them and they didn't make any money. So,
Again, well, his point was anthologies don't sell. The idea is, I think you could have made a number of these into individual movies. If you could have expanded upon them, made them their own thing, that they probably would have sold on their own.
Well, but the problem is that these stories wouldn't work if they were longer. They have to be this short and this compact with no fat. That's what gives them their power. And if they're shorter, there's no market for them because you can't sell a 3-minute or 5-minute cartoon.
I don't know. I think you could expand some of them. You'd have to give them a voice, of course. I think Presence could be its own movie.
But then you ruin it.
No, you give that guy a backstory, you explain his motivations, and then maybe you could even make that ending feel stronger by knowing what he's giving up.
I mean, I know that's the two cakes theory, but you get sick of eating cake. You
could have a variety of different flavors of cake to ensure that you don't get sick of the flavor of cake.
You say that, but I mean, I think the strength of these bits is that because they are short and have to tell a lot of story in a little amount of time, that gives them, a lot of craft and a lot of work.
Stardust feels like it would be a great pilot for a show.
Right.
You could make something out of that.
And then you'd have filler episodes. And probably, no.
You would have filler episodes only because you were saying you'd have filler episodes. Obviously, we don't have the writing crew here to bring something of it. I'm just saying it feels like you could do something with it.
You could pad it out and make it tedious. They did it with Dragon Ball. They did it with Tenchi Muyo. They could do it with this.
Again, I feel like you're coming at it from a negative angle. That you think, I'm saying you think you have to pad it out. I think you could give somebody a creative you could give this to, and they could make something that you wouldn't have to pad out. A modern 12-episode run, not of the time, a 40 to 50 episode run that would be padded out and filled in.
And you're coming from, the Surf Dracula school of, let's decompress everything. If 5 minutes is good, then 500 minutes will be 100 times as good. And it's like I can enjoy Deprive and Starlight because they're short. They don't tax my patience because they are very fluffy.
And different enjoyments in different ways. The same thing that we discussed before when we tried to watch entire shows. And your impetus was, I'm not going to continue watching something that I don't like, and that your measure for bullshit is far lower than mine. So if something you don't like, immediately. I find that if I don't like something, I know from the box, I judge a book by its cover when it comes to some things, that I just don't watch things that I feel like I'm not even going to like. But for stuff that I continue watching, I watch through the low points because I've already started. I guess I have a problem with investment. But yeah, I'm not going to say that 5 minutes is good, 500 minutes is better. I'm saying that the investment that I felt with, say, Presence, I feel like you could turn that into something better. Well, that spreading it out isn't just lengthening it, it's also creating new investment.
Even if we don't address it from the aesthetic point of view, it's also the cost. They even mentioned in the making of this that they're using double to triple as many cells in their production here than you normally would. They're not doing the Dragon Balls, let's do this on the 3s and 4s to save money. So if you were to make this 10 times as long, you'd also make it 10 times as expensive to look as good as it does. You either have to make it look worse, and we're all in agreement it looks great, so making it look worse is not good, or you'd have to spend way too much money that you'd never recoup.
Again, I'm not on the business side. I accept what you're saying. I'm saying that I don't know. All I know is that, to the original point of discussion, is that they said it flopped, and they specifically said it flopped because anthologies flopped. Mute it again.
Yeah, but it's also the anthology format. Like it's like in science fiction they also talk about the novella. Like normal there's a lot of stories for science fiction that are too big for a short story, but they're too small for a novel. Like 20,000 words is the perfect length. So maybe if it was like, a couple short stories or, shorter, but you can't sell that. So you wind up padding it out, and that ruins them. So I think, this is a disagreement. It's like, yes, if you could make it 10 times as longer and keep it as good, I suppose, fairy dust exists and it could just happen. I'm saying that I think that what gives these segments their power is the fact that they are so dense. And so, like, I would not enjoy Nightmare as much if it was 10 times as long. It's 5 minutes, one and done.
If I'm honest, I think Nightmare was too long.
And it's the best segment. So
to you, again, different tastes.
You're objectively wrong. So that makes
well, I'm not objectively wrong. Well, I guess if the objective is yours. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure I'm the alpha and the omega.
All right. I didn't know you wrote the Bible, but okay. Okay, sorry. I didn't know you told the Bible to somebody.
I know. But I mean, it's a different kind of segments. Yes. I mean, also, it's going to be all hard stuff. See, it's weird because of the MTV. When MTV debuted in the 80s, the short film subject, like just making short films, there was no market for it. Like movie theaters used to show short subjects and cartoons and even just little sitcom bits in front of their movies. And they'd stop doing that. Now it was just you go see one feature film and make sure it's ass. So when MTV showed up, suddenly there was a market for the 3 to 5 minute film. You had to put a song around it. And so the early 80s had this renaissance of directors who were making 3 to 5 minute short films. And when, that market dried up, they stopped doing it. So I think there is a market, for that. But the problem, there's an audience demand for that, but
I mean, these days it might be better in streaming the anthology, or I guess not even an anthology, in that you could make what would the anime version of, like, say, Shudder be, right? Where you have independent artists who would just make anime short form things like this outside of the anthology format, but just shorts to be consumed on demand.
I mean, there was a narrow window where you could get away with it in YouTube and then TikTok and Instagram. They were profitable for a period of time. That kind of dried up, but there was, the golden age of Newgrounds and the 2000s where you could just get on YouTube and watch a bunch of 3 to 5 minute shorts. It's not profitable anymore because animation's kind of expensive, but there was a window for that.
I don't imagine that. Is this stuff on Crunchyroll?
Crunchyroll also is kind of a...
Yeah, I mean, but it's still your go-to unless I guess you're a fan of High Dive.
Well, didn't Crunchyroll get bought out and is bundled with a bunch of other crap now?
Well, it used to be VRV was your go-to because VRV encapsulated High Dive, Crunchyroll, Funimation, a bunch of places all in one, so that you're like several subscriptions to a bunch of anime services. You instead paid one VRV and get all of them put together. But then that crumbled once was it Funimation bought Crunchyroll, and then Funimation pulled its stuff off of VRV, and then Crunchyroll, or I think Funimation started buying other ones, so now it's like Crunchyroll and High Dive are basically it. I think High Dive also features like French animation stuff, like God, I don't know that one. There's one specifically we used to talk. Wrong Guy. Was it Wrong Guy? God, I know we've specifically talked about it before. I thought.
So yeah, so it's difficult to make it work, and one reason why I'm glad we can show Robot Carnival, it's that narrow window where not only did they get all these people at the heights of their powers, but since they didn't know anthologies don't sell, then you got Memories and Robot Carnival all made at the same time, and some of the best, short subject or medium subject animations ever made. And then, like it's lightning in a bottle. They won't make it anymore because now if you tried to pitch that, they would tell you it doesn't make any money, so we're not going to do it. And that to me is kind of the big regret of, obviously short subjects can be good, but because there's no market for them, we don't get them.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it is about the dollar.
If you can't stay in business, you don't make stuff. So sometimes we talk about I don't think we've reviewed the bankrupting anime. I don't think we reviewed the production that was so big and so wonderful that it was too expensive, didn't make enough money back, and bankrupted the studio. I'm sure that happens in anime, but the big ones that I would talk about, aren't usually like that.
So as long as the things that come to me are like canon films and whatnot, with He-Man.
Right. He-Man was too little. And also like He-Man's not necessarily an ambitious film. Apparently it has the largest soundstage ever built or something ridiculous like that.
Oh yeah, they went heavy in on it because they thought it was going to be the start of a big thing, and they overinvested. And they couldn't recoup everything, and it kind of shut them down. Although I think they got bought out and then changed names, so technically they might still be out there, but it's not the same people, not the same.
And that was, and also like even though they thought it was going to be a big thing, it's not like this was a big grandiose, vision. Like another thing like Robot Carnival and Memories have for them that they even talked about in the segment was they're not just vehicles for toys. Like I know people will tell me it still be for toys and still be good. Yeah, it usually isn't. I mean, the best you can hope for is it, like that's still damn it. These were conceived of, let's do something really crazy and arty, and these came out really good, especially because some of them have satire to them that you don't see. Like Otomo segments, especially with they keep calling it something different. The English title was Order to Stop Production, and the opening and closing titles of Robot Carnival. That bleak, apocalypse type stuff, you don't see that often. Or stuff like Presence, you don't like see dark stuff like that very often when it's toyetic, when it's designed to to be big blockbuster type stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame.
Last Man, yeah, that's what you were talking.
Sorry, Wrong Guy, Last Man. I can't remember the name of it. I mean, there are very few French animations that come to my mind. What I'm trying to think of: Last Man, Laureline, and Valerian.
Whack Food's the big one I was thinking of. Have you ever seen Whack Food?
I don't know if I've ever heard of it.
Oh my god!
Maybe the name rings a bell, but I've definitely never seen it. I loved Last Man. I've talked at length about Laureline and Valerian before. I know there's probably a lot more French comic animations based on comics at the very least that I know of that just don't come to my head.
Oh, let's see. Sorry, I gotta not click on the Google link, but the regular link. Do. All right. So yeah, no, Wakfu is huge.
Oh, it's a website.
Well, that's the website, but it's also a TV series and video game series, and it's all French. I mean, you'll even look at it and say, this looks kind of like anime. It's like, it's all French.
This is a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the game.
Based on a successful TV series. Okay. Netflix, France.
Yeah. Wakfu is really good. And last, every time I look at last man is my favorite line. My favorite line of all time, which is still, you're only saying that you love me because I have a grenade.
Oh, yeah, from the car scene. It's been forever since I've watched Last Man. I might rewatch it at some point. It's really good. I enjoyed it.
It's pretty good.
I also remember finding out that the female love interest is based on Hitomi Tanaka, I believe, the prolific Japanese porn star.
I mean, I believe it. It's very much a love letter to anime, but some of the lines, like that one, always sticks out with me because it's so ridiculously absurd.
Yeah.
It has a lot of Gunsmith Cats and Riding Bean in it, which are favorites of mine.
At some point, I'll actually read the comic that it's based on, which, unfortunately, as I understand it, doesn't feature or barely features the main character from Last Man, which I guess kind of why I never really got into it.
I don't know if it's gonna have that same level of that absurdist level of writing just really carries me. But yes, thank you for I'm glad you enjoyed Robot Carnival. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Like I said, if you were like, Memories is good, but Memories is 3 segments and it's very emotional. And like I enjoy Memories a lot. But like I said, if you were just want to show someone what was animation like in the 2000s, like even the press release said, this was some of the best animators working in the 80s at the height of their powers, doing whatever the hell they wanted. Some of which were, the more accessible stuff like Deprive, some of the more inaccessible stuff like Cloud, all across the spectrum, a variety of techniques. It's got funny stuff, it's got grim stuff. It's really, I should have asked, do you agree with me that Robot Carnival is like 80s anime, the movie?
I mean, it's certainly a sampler pack.
Right.
Specifically a sampler pack of the music of 1980s anime.
Well, that's almost all one composer, too, which is interesting about that. But yeah, it's also the music. In fact, once again, recommend the soundtrack. Pick it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, that has been Robot Carnival. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Rafferty. We've been Stone Face Reactions, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone Face Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?